are heading into overtime on 1620 The Zone. Shock the system. Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone, the 1620 The Zone app, and 1620thezone.com. When 6A to 6P isn't enough, the boys have you covered. Here's Jimmy Allen
and John Schreiner.
Happy Monday, everybody. We totally remembered what day of the week it was before we started off. It's not like it's just a endless loop of the Matrix where we just forget what day we are. We just show up, talk on the radio. That's all we do, Dan Campen and John Schreiner. We're live with you here tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. We're brought to you by Bellevue University. You can head over to bellevue.edu and register for classes. Become a Bruin. Get a college education. Can't beat it today. We got a great show lined up for you. Rick Pitino wants all of the smoke.
Ooh.
And then some. He does not like his basketball team.
He definitely inhaled.
We'll tell you what he had to say about his St. John's Johnnies at 6:15. Our good friend Brian Munson from Husker Online has been a weekly staple on this show for 5 years. For the first time ever, he's in studio with us tonight.
Love it.
At 7 o'clock, we buy or sell on both the men and women's Creighton basketball teams. The ladies came up short against UConn today. We'll talk about the men at 7 o'clock. At 7:30, there are new state champions at the top of Class A in wrestling. Coach Bob Mulligan brings his Warriors from Omaha West Side in to talk about their season and their state championship. Before we get to all that, though, John Schreiner, I want to pick your brain on one Matt Rhule's conversation with Tom Chattel. And they opened up the discussion. Tom asked Matt about his urgency and what exactly what was his urgency level heading into year two. And he said it's at an all-time high. Now, I don't think it's going to be the case with this coaching staff, but we've seen coaching staffs in the past, maybe more specifically the one right before Matt Rhule's, say some things and
better get us in year two.
Regret them immediately after.
They're going to have to adapt to us.
They're going to go really fast around here. Do you think that Matt Rhule will have any regret in saying my urgency is at an all-time high, and I think we did a lot of things to get ourselves ready for this time. Now we have to use that urgency, and this team has to embrace that pressure. What was good enough last year isn't good enough this year. Any part of you think he might regret making that statement?
No, it doesn't ring the same way as the previous ones did. For me, just saying that, look, we're putting pressure on ourselves internally. We are focusing on what we're doing. We're putting the pressure on ourselves. And to say that you have urgency, meaning like we want to win now, is not a guarantee like what Scott Frost said, you better get us in year one because we're going to be pretty tough in year two. That's predictive, right? That's saying that this is going to happen, or to say that they're going to have to adapt to us. You're making proclamations. Saying that our sense of urgency is high isn't proclaiming that you're going to be good. It's not saying that everybody better watch out for you.
Right.
It's just saying like, look, we want to win now, and we are putting the pressure on ourselves to win now. So I don't know that the statements are not quite in the same vein. The only thing I would ask you is like, what else did you want him to say?
Yeah, I mean,
it's sort of a leading question because you're a head football coach at one of the biggest football schools in the country. If someone asks you, what's your sense of urgency? What are you going to say? Yeah, we're still kind of just.
Yeah,
we're thinking maybe we'll push it in year three.
We're really hoping to
right now. We're just kind of.
We're really hoping to win 4 this season.
We just need to kind of hold serve. What is he going to say?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it. And listen, it felt like there was a level of urgency that wasn't here before in year one.
Sure.
Thinking back to his original press conference, so I'm not surprised to hear him say that. But when he brought up the fact, when he brought up pressure, that the word pressure is what stood out to me because. I don't know if you necessarily say that Nebraska is under pressure if you don't have Dylan Raiola. Now you do, and that's changed a lot. But listen, he's obviously a true freshman. He's never played a down of college football up until this point. And, yeah, he's a 5-star guy, and we know about the ranking system and all that. But you're going into a second year after not even going 500 a season ago. Granted, you were 1 win away with 4 games left to play. But You don't get to 500. You don't get to a bowl game. And now you have a freshman quarterback. And I think that changes the narrative a little bit. Now, maybe it doesn't because of how bad Nebraska's quarterback situation was last year, and just anything with a pulse maybe better than what they had with Jeff Sims to start the year. Now, and obviously you get Heinrich Harburg in a break glass in case of emergency situation. But I look at
let's keep the glass in.
Yeah, I look at the two guys that stood out as freshmen, obviously one being a redshirt and one a true, when they came to Nebraska, and obviously Adrian and Taylor Martinez. In Adrian Martinez's first season, he had 8 rushing touchdowns, 17 passing touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 4 fumbles. Is it realistic to think Dylan Raiola could do better than 25 touchdowns and 12 turnovers in his first season? And listen, Adrian's first season was special.
Yeah, the 8 rushing touchdowns seems like a lot.
Yeah,
for the
that's
way,
not going to happen.
For the way he plays the game. So you're talking like
I just mean accounting for 25.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But what I'm trying to is work out the math here, right? Like, so cut that at least in half. Maybe he gets 2 or 3 on sneaks or something like that.
Sure.
So give him 3,
which I
means,
don't think that's even going to happen.
So that means he's got to throw for 22, 23 touchdowns. That's a tall order for a freshman.
Right.
If he throws for 22 or 23 touchdowns, he's going to be in the Heisman conversation in the offseason as a sophomore.
And think about what Adrian had to work with too. You had an established running game with Devine Ozigbo. You had a guy in Stanley Morgan who was on the cusp of an all Big Ten team. You had a guy in JD Spielman who people thought were going to take a giant leap forward. You had a ton of talent around you that was already kind of an established regime before you got there. You don't have that right now. Like, we really hope Jamal Banks is going to be really good, and we expect Malachi Coleman and Jaden Lloyd to take another step forward. And you've got a guy coming in from Texas that was at Wyoming, that had some success at Wyoming, but didn't play a lot in Austin. He played 1 game in Lenoir. So, I mean, you don't really you think Thomas Fidone can take another step forward, and you've got Carter Nelson on the back burner, but you have so many unproven commodities. I really think setting the bar at maybe 20 touchdowns, maybe even a little bit high. The caveat to that is you've got a really good defense coming back with the majority of the nucleus intact and the entire coaching staff still in place.
Yeah, I think the defense was pretty good in Taylor Martinez's freshman year as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
the Jared Crick guy was all right.
He was all right.
And number 4 linebacker did well for himself.
He was decent. So yeah, the defense is interesting that you might not need him to do as much, right? You might not be asking him to account for 25 touchdowns
and the other
be successful.
The other flip side of that is, without that level of talent on the offensive side of the ball, if your defense can just put you in really good situations, you may just count for a couple touchdowns just based on the fact that
on accident
you got a short side of the field too, which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, I think if he gets the 20 total touchdowns, I think that's a success. Like, 25 is a lot, and you had the numbers in our notes today of 22 touchdowns for Taylor Martinez as a freshman, which is a lot.
And 12 of those were on the ground.
Sure.
But it was a different gear for him.
Yeah. Those guys they were different kind of athletes. They're different style of quarterback.
Yeah, agreed.
Than what you're bringing on. So you're asking Dylan Raiola to do most of the work through the air. He's not going to really have that rushing element to the same degree that those other two did. So, yeah, I think if you get him to 20, you figure a couple, maybe a scramble around the goal line, a sneak, and then throw for 18. I'll be super happy with that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would be upset about that. Back to Tom Chattel's column for a second. He asked Matt Rule about Dylan Raiola and what the plans are for him for the spring. And he said there's no set plan for Dylan Raiola. He's just another guy. Now, Matt Rule has never had a 5-star quarterback before. Nebraska has never had a 5-star quarterback before. And you can't really treat him any differently. The fact of the matter is it's a different category. It's a different animal. Do you like this approach, and how much do you actually believe that?
Again, it's a situation where what do you want him to say?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to treat this guy, we're going to wrap him in gold linen.
He's sitting courtside at a basketball game with John Cook.
Everybody knows he's a different guy, right?
Yeah.
Everybody from the outside looking in knows that this is a different guy. The head coach can't say that he's going to be treated differently.
I do like this approach in pulling him in, because he said, don't worry about being a 5-star quarterback. Now, the 93,000 coaches in the stands are going to be worried about that. But I think if you could find some way to reel him in and keep him as grounded as possible to kind of, okay.
I think his dad's done a pretty good job of that.
I do too. But listen, he's going to be away from his dad. Maybe. I mean, I know Dom's been on campus and Uncle is there and all of that, but this is his first time being outside of the shadow a little bit, right? And so it's going to be a little bit different. And I think that's going to be kind of part of his job to figure that out is how do I navigate this as Dylan Raiola, not Dominic's son? And I think that's a lot. We're going to go to the phones where Dan, you called in. You can just grab the microphone. Or is this a different Dan? Different Dan? Okay. We'll go to Dan on the phone lines, 402-951-1620. Dan, good evening, sir.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Going back to that speed thing, who do you think was faster, Eric Crouch or Taylor Martinez?
Okay, because here's the debate. I think Taylor was faster, but Eric was more elusive. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback run full speed into a tackle more than Taylor Martinez.
Yeah, he straight line speed. Taylor wins. And
I totally agree.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I thought. I thought Eric was a little shiftier.
Oh, definitely.
A dead run. I thought Taylor probably would get him in a quick run, but just wanted to get an opinion. Big game tomorrow night, guys. Go Jay.
Hey, Dan, I'm going to see you tomorrow morning, all right? I'm going to swing by the shop.
I'll see you in the morning. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Sounds good, buddy. Appreciate it. Make sure you stop at Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear for all your game day needs for a big one tomorrow night. We're going to tell you about that later in the show as well. I don't know if you know the stat. In his playing career at Nebraska, Taylor Martinez had 43 opportunities to either throw the ball away or take a sack. Do you know how many times he threw away the ball?
I don't know.
0.
Well, good. Excellent.
Not the best decision maker in his time in Lincoln. Hey, if you missed the opening segment tonight and want to check it out, listen to it at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by Caddyshack Bar and Grill. They've got 2 great locations, whether it be 117th in Blondo or 180th in Harrison. You can stop out tonight and grab a plate of Jay's famous homemade meatloaf for just $10.95. Caddyshack Bar and Grill is the official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone. We'll be right back with Brian Munson from Husker Online and On 3 on 1620 The Zone. If you thought that last caller was just a nice guy, you can go talk to him tomorrow. I'll be around the shop. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. It's centrally located on 78th and Dodge. Stop in, have Dan or John help you out. They'll get you fitted for a suit, or maybe you're looking for the best in Blue Jay Blue. They have options from Mizzen and Maine, Johnny O, and Cutter and Buck. They have the best options in Blue Jay Blue for men or women. If you want to dress like the coaches, there's only one place to do it, and it's Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, 78th and Dodge. They've been dressing Omaha for over 50 years.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly clear and chilly tonight. Low temperatures dipping back into the middle 20s. Mostly sunny and very warm for Tuesday. I look for a high in the mid 60s. More clouds, still pretty mild on Wednesday with a high near 60. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
Tradition, the Bellevue University Bruins could be the right fit for you. Whether on the court or on the field, track or course, our student athletes strive and succeed. This year, Bellevue teams and individuals have combined to win 11 conference championships, with 8 teams qualifying for their national tournaments. Plus, nearly 50 student athletes were also named to all conference teams. Find out more about our tradition of excellence at BUBruins.com.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
Graduation season will be here before you know it, and you can have the 402 barbecue truck come to your party or event you're hosting. Stop by the Brick and Mortar on 84th and Spring and try the food. Then, when you get the craving, come back and book the food truck to be the caterer for your event. Graduations, company outings, community events, they do it all. 402 Barbecue at 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by today and grab lunch.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to boosting reviews, fixing maps to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $99 special offer. Click fixmygbp.com for more details.
Hey Jays fans, it's hoop season and you know what that means. Jerry Ryan has the best selection in town for all things Creighton gear. Stop by Jerry Ryan at 78th and Dodge for your quarter zips in all shades of Jays blue, plus jackets, vests, winter coats, you name it. They have it. Multiple Jays options for men and women from Peter Millar, Cutter and Buck, and Johnny O. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and dress like the coaches do.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
It's Pro Time, Nebraska! The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded into the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent at the CHI Healthcare Center in downtown Omaha. Have fun with family and friends and get to know this team and feel the energy that they are bringing to Nebraska. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with After Hours. Thursday is Spaghetti Night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
The temperatures are dropping fast, and Old Man Winter is right around the corner. If your home isn't going to win the battle against the cold this year, let the #1 roofer in Omaha for 12 consecutive years come fight the battle for you. Let Pyramid Roofing come out and replace your gutters, your siding, your windows. They do it all. Give Pyramid a call tonight at 402-502-9300 or check out pyramidroof.com to book a free estimate today. Tell Old Man Winter to take a hike.
PyramidRoof.com, never settle for less.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
All right, you two. Let's have this conversation on air.
All right. Let's do it.
It's the After Hours Lounge. We're brought to you by Bellevue University. If you want to keep up to date on all things Bellevue athletics, download the BU Bruins app tonight. If you want to keep up to date on all things Husker recruiting, you want to listen to this gentleman right here. Brian Munson is live in Omaha, Nebraska, freezing like the commoners that we are. And is here
Welcome.
Here to talk Husker football recruiting. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you guys? It's good. It's good to finally be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
You didn't bring me barbecue, though. So
I know.
We got
you got
some
to come
beef.
to Texas for that.
All right.
You got to get
That's
back
true. I
down
probably don't
there.
want to reheat brisket. That might not be a good look.
So, yeah. And where we went, Heart 8, great
best.
place. We're going to go to 1050 next time.
Okay.
So it's kind of the same kind of deal. Like you kind of pick and tell them how much and whatever. I give the edge to 1050.
I made the mistake of going with Brian Munson to a place where they weigh your food and that's how much you have to pay for it. I offered to get the bill.
That was not
rookie mistake.
Brian didn't alligator arm me anything. I offered, so it was fine. Hey, you're here for the in-state tour with Sean and Sip.
I am,
and apparently high school reunion as well.
Got a little get together after this with a high school buddy, staying with a different high school buddy.
That's kind of an in-state tour type thing.
Yeah, and then
that's a different tour.
Yeah,
hopefully going to bump into Tim Carpenter, who I graduated high school with later on this week. Missed out and seeing Jackson play on Saturday. Opted, man, I shouldn't say this on the air, but I went to the Gretna Bellevue West game.
Okay,
fantastic. Wonderful game. So everybody's taking
all
care
friends of the show. It's fun.
Everybody's taking care of me. So I
Sure.
did that basketball game on Saturday, and I will be back at the Creighton UConn game tomorrow night.
Nice.
All right.
So yeah, don't tell all the people on Red Sea Scrolls.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody's adding you on Twitter right now.
You'll get J-Skirt in a hurry.
I will.
Before we get to the in-state tour stuff, I want to talk about the 2025 quarterback situation because the guy that was kind of on the top of the list, and Alex Mansky from Algona, Iowa, was thought to be maybe even the number one prospect on Matt Rule's board, let alone the quarterback.
Yeah.
He chooses Iowa State. Any kind of surprise for you in that situation?
I think it's pretty clear that things started to go south with him in December.
Okay.
Maybe not south, but definitely sideways. I think the whole Dylan Raiola is going to go to Nebraska thing. I think it did a lot in influencing him to take a look at some other schools. Now, the other schools are interesting, obviously, because Nebraska lost a staff member to Texas A&M. Texas A&M, coincidentally, has been very active recruiting Nebraska targets. Carter Nelson, Alex Mansky. There's some other dudes, that are still getting some attention, 2025 guys, like a Christian Jones, getting some attention that way. I believe that Chase Lofton has an A&M offer too, if I recall. So, I mean, these are not coincidences, but I think with Mansky, what that came down to is that Nebraska just signed 2 Elite 11 quarterbacks, in the 2024
difficult
class.
to cut through that. Yeah.
Difficult to kind of see around that thing, even if you have, tremendous relationship. And I think things would still be a very good situation for him. You're sitting behind, a couple of guys there, obviously, that are very, very tough. And yeah, I think that Mansky now being off the board has opened some things up, and Nebraska has at least one 2025 quarterback set to come in April.
Just at the overall strategy here, like they've had so much success in their first recruiting class, Matt Rule and company, at the quarterback position. Do you think that's sustainable, that they can be in on the top quarterbacks in the country every year?
It's tough to do. I mean, it's a competitive position. It's a position that we watch it even when Nebraska's not even involved with the musical chairs with the portal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Watching the portal this year was very interesting. Like where Purdy kind of started out to be, kind of looked at to go to Boise State, how that kind of fell down. There's been some other guys that have made decisions.
Well, then he ended up at San Jose State, and then that fell through, and now he's at Nevada.
And then you have, gosh, my mind just went totally blank too. You have the kid that was from Ohio State and up at Syracuse.
Kyle McCord.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't think the situation at Ohio State was necessarily a guarantee at all. Like, I don't want to say that at all, but I mean, he made a decision to kind of do this and ends up in Syracuse, New York. So
do we not appreciate, because we're in the fishbowl, how big of a domino the Dylan Raiola thing was?
I don't think, I mean, you only saw it for a week,
right?
You only saw it for a week. And had that happened like in June or July, it would have been completely and totally disruptive. I mean, it would have been disruptive to everybody across the board. I mean, think about, so Daniel Kaelin probably remains a Missouri Tiger, so start there. But then what is, Georgia ends up having a guy on the board. USC, they end up doing what? And then what else kind of happens? Maybe Georgia decides they still need a second guy if it's that early on in the season, and then they start challenging for somebody else's commitment. I think it's going to have some disruptiveness no matter what, because I think Nebraska is going to try to find any way to kind of ride any type of momentum of getting a guy like Dylan Raiola into the program, despite the fact that he's already on the roster. It's been a topic that all 4 of the recent Nebraska offers at quarterback have all brought up to me unsolicited. They know. I mean, he is obviously something that they are very well aware of, that's part of Nebraska's situation now. So,
talking about some of the other guys in state, you're doing the in-state tour. Who are a few of the guys that you're really excited to see?
So we saw,
other than us.
Yeah, right. I'm excited to be here. So we did Sunday, we did Omaha, and the next Sunday we'll do Lincoln. So let me just start by saying, I think the one guy that really stood out to me yesterday I'm so surprised I'm going to say this, but it's true. Jet Thamala.
Yeah.
From Millard South. Yeah. I had no idea how big that kid was going to be.
He's a big dude.
I was surprised. I was really surprised.
A lot bigger than he was a year ago too.
Another dude that I would really want to go back and compare the numbers on, Bellevue West Caprice Keith.
Okay.
That is a guy that I love watching play football.
Dude, I don't think I bet he came in
he's a 25 kid, right?
He's a 26.
26. Okay, I couldn't remember if he was a junior.
Now, I think yesterday he came in at either 6'2.5" or 6'3", and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I would say a year ago, he's probably gained at least an inch, maybe 2. I mean, he just grew up and he is solid. But, I got to go with my old reliable one, for the guys that really impressed me yesterday, Tyson Terry.
Dude,
such a good kid.
Tough as nail. So I see the kid walks in and I said, "Hey man," I said, "you're gonna have to give me more than 30 seconds out here in an interview." He starts laughing because I was like, "Dude, did you even break a sweat? Did you even he's like, well, in warm-ups, and it's like one of those deals." So what a great kid. But I'll tell you what, and I said it in the summary on Sunday, that dude could play at Nebraska right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
as
got
a 17-year-old.
Yes, absolutely. He is so physically ready to go. I mean, he is a 6'3.5", 77 pound kid, just solid and in incredible shape.
Get him out of a wrestling weight cut and he's 300.
Oh my gosh.
Here's what I'll tell you about that kid. So they came in here for the football program and he treated it like a business interview. We did a show outing. We went over to Joe's Indoor Karting. And he wasn't with his parents. He wasn't with his coaching staff. He was there with a girl and a couple other friends. Walked up, shook all of our hands, thanked us for the interview that we did 6 months prior, and treated it the exact same way. That kid's going to be successul, whatever he chooses.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the other kid that kind of gives you that feeling too is Caden Vermas. I'm telling you, what a neat kid. He has gone from playing all these sports to boxing, wanting to do MMA. Now he's picking up track this spring, and he's talking like, I just want to do it all. I want to experience it all. I want to figure out what are the things I really, really like to do. Like, how cool.
He just needs to lose the baby face and he'll be fine.
He's
just always looked 16. Maybe it's because I met him when
he's a slightly under 6'1", 188 pound kid that looks heavier than 188 pounds. And Nebraska's telling him, stay below 195. Don't come here.
Shiftiness.
Yeah. Don't come here north of. We're going to break you down even still. And then we're going to build you back up again. And they're excited. I mean, he's excited. He's worried about mat drills. That guy's worried about mat drills. Like, really?
At
like
195.
Yeah. Like, I mean, at 195, I mean, I understand it. If you're a 300-pound guy and you've never done mat drills before, like that is going to be something that's going to suck.
Sure.
But
speaking from experience?
No, I've never done a mat drill. I've watched them and thought about like, oh, I did that at Fort Benning. That sucked.
Yeah.
But no, I think that he is such a great athlete. I think he's so well-rounded. And I think that he's still a guy that stands up because he could do so many things for Nebraska.
We're talking to Brian Munson from Husker Online and On3. You brought up some of the guys that are at the top of the talent list for 2025 in the state of Nebraska. And I think we got to start at the top of the totem pole. Christian Jones, obviously, linebacker from Omaha West Side. We were out there last week. We had a bunch of people come up and asking us, when do you think he's going to get that 5th star? When's the 5th star show? How realistic do you think that is for a guy who clearly is at the top of the state to be possibly the top of the country?
I didn't mention him as part of the in-state tour because he didn't come out yesterday either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kudos to him. He's working. I mean, the coach told us flat out, he's throwing shot. He's doing all the things and honestly, it's some of that other film that I have watched.
He never stops working.
No, it's some of that other film that I've actually watched that actually encourages me the most. I know what he can do on the football field. It's what he is as an athlete that really pushes him into that 5-star conversation. I told you guys when we sat down, I go, he is literally, I feel like knocking on the door. And Steve Sipple asked me, he's like, who do you compare him to? Like, skill level wise, like his recruiting ranking, and I think obviously you had a tremendous guy in Carter Nelson last year. But as I sat there and I'm going, I think that this guy is just so ready to go and he can do a couple different things at the second level. It was really, 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 really hard for me not to say Baker Steinkuhler. I just feel like this is
he was the last 5-star from Nebraska.
He was the
right?
last 5-star from Nebraska. He's really, the reason why in Baker's career, I think even if you bumped into him, he'd tell you that it didn't live up to that kind of hype.
Because he went to the offensive side of the ball?
Well, I think that was the change, right? But I think with him, it's just like they're so prototypical.
I don't think they're going to move Christian Jones to offensive guard if he comes to Nebraska.
But I think Christian Jones is a prototypical guy.
Yeah.
And I think that when you get into that kind of thing where you are just so athletic and you can kind of put him into that kind of scary off the edge Micah Parsons looking dude, right? And has he's going to be a 10-8, or lower kind of 100 meter, and he's going to throw the shot. And he's got teams like OU and others and Notre Dame, just fighting for him. People need, and I'll throw Chase Lofton into this category because Chase Lofton looked really good yesterday. People are going to have to get really comfortable with being uncomfortable about those two guys with what they're going to do with their recruiting.
Yeah.
Chase Lofton basically vaulted to being a national recruit by picking up his offer at Oklahoma at summer camp.
Yeah.
You go straight past regional to being a national guy.
Hold that thought, because you said we can get you for 2 segments.
Yeah.
That brings up an interesting topic. I want to talk about, is it beneficial for kids to wait longer to commit? I want to get your thought on that. We're talking to Brian Munster from Husker Online and On3. If you missed that opening segment, we talked a lot of in-state stuff. Check it out at SoundCloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by 402 Barbecue. You can stop by 3027 South 84th Street Monday through Saturday. Maybe me and Brian will go get barbecue tomorrow from 11 to 6. Try my personal favorite. It's the Cadillac sandwich. It's brisket. It's pork. It's topped off with their world-famous smoked mac and cheese. Make sure you mention Kelly and team. You heard about them on After Hours. She's going to throw in a free solo to purchase and the mention of our show. It's 402 Barbecue, 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by tomorrow and grab lunch. We'll be right back, catching up with more of Brian Munson. I want to get his thought on, should you take longer to commit in today's day and age of NIL? We come back here on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, everybody, it's John Schreiner here for Pyramid Roof Contractors. The warm temperatures are back again. Yes, they're back. Hey, look at that. And sometimes the warm temperatures can come with thunderstorms, and thunderstorms produce leaks in your roof. Or maybe you're starting to see some fog behind your windows. Let the #1 roofer in Omaha for 12 years in a row come out and diagnose the problem and give you the answers you're looking for. Check out pyramidroof.com and let the contractors at Pyramid Roof come out and give you a free estimate today.
The dream of playing the sport you love may be closer than you think. The Bellevue University Athletic Department proudly sports the best scholarship funding among NAIA programs in the state. To compete with the best, we need to recruit the best. All incoming freshmen earn a $5,000 scholarship when they enroll at Bellevue University. Learn more by looking us up at BUBruins.com and reach out to your future coach today.
There's never been a better time to choose a new career path than right now. Hi, I'm Tracy with Papillion Sanitation. If you're at a point in your life where you want a career, not a job, Papillion Sanitation is the place for you. From 401k options to opportunities for career advancement, come make Papillion Sanitation your future. Check out papillion-sanitation.com today to apply and make a change for the better. Papillion Sanitation, equal opportunity employer.
Hey, Jays fans, it's hoop season, and you know what that means. Jerry Ryan has the best selection in town for all things Creighton gear. Stop by Jerry Ryan at 78th and Dodge for your quarter zips in all shades of Jays blue, plus jackets, vest, winter coats, you name it. They have it. Multiple Jays options for men and women from Peter Millar, Cutter and Buck, and Johnny O. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and dress like the coaches do.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
It's cold, it's windy, you're stuck inside, but not for long. Spring will be here before you know it. And if you want to get off the couch and enjoy the outdoors when the mercury starts to rise, head over to Foresman'sFinest.com today. Let the finest deck builders in the Omaha area come build you an outdoor experience you will love. A deck, a patio with a cover, there isn't much Foresman's can't do. Check out Foresman'sFinest.com and have your dream outdoor experience in 2024.
Graduation season will be here before you know it, and you can have the 402 barbecue truck come to your party or event you're hosting. Stop by the Brick and Mortar on 84th and Spring and try the food. Then, when you get the craving, come back and book the food truck to be the caterer for your event. Graduations, company outings, community events, they do it all. 402 Barbecue at 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by today and grab lunch.
It's Pro Time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded into the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent at the CHI Healthcare Center in downtown Omaha. Have fun with family and friends and get to know this team and feel the energy that they are bringing to Nebraska. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to boosting reviews, fixing maps, to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixbygbp.com for our $99 special offer. Click fixmygbp.com for more details.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with after hours. Thursday is spaghetti night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
6:38 on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Bellevue University. If you're looking to sign up for spring classes, head over to bellevue.edu and register for classes tonight. Brian Munson from Husker Online and On 3 is still here with us. Did you feel offended that when people were tweeting out thinking the Husker Online guys were coming through, they only listed Steve Sipple and Sean Callahan?
No.
Jerks.
I never do.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, I don't belong in that. I don't belong in the same byline as them.
Because you can bench more than them, or?
Well, I would almost probably let them sum their totals together. But no, seriously. I'm so happy to be part of that team. I was so happy that Sean brought Steve out. I mean, the whole team was basically, we didn't have Robin.
Recruiting guy. Steve
we
Sipple.
didn't have Robin there, but I mean, there were some terrific stories for Steve to
for sure
to pick up on, and it was a wonderful deal.
He's pretty good at writing.
Yeah, a Columbus guy. I got to give him his due.
I got you. Hey, I asked you a question before we went to break.
Yeah, you did.
And this is something that I think is going to become more prevalent if it already isn't at the forefront. Is it more valuable from an NIL, more stars, better rating standpoint to hold out on committing early in your plan, in your mind, for guys that are looking at this like the business that it has kind of become?
Man,
we only ask the hard questions on After Hours.
The quick answer to that question is yes.
Yeah.
Look,
do you feel gross saying it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But here's the deal. I mean, how long are you really going to go ahead and chase that carrot? Because get past July and into August and September, classes start filling up. You know, like some of those guys will be done the third week in July. If you're legitimately like, there's a difference in dudes. Let's just be honest. You've got guys that the classes will take no matter what their totals get to in the commitments. And then you have other guys that they feel like they have 3 or 4 on their board, and they'll say that they're taking the first 2. And if they miss out on 2 of the other guys, they're going to go offer another 2 guys and say it's still the next 2. So you're playing with fire to some extent, but I mean, from a rankings perspective, from an NIL perspective, from building your brand kind of perspective, it is more challenging if you come off the board earlier. Now, I will drop a Tunnel Talk nugget right here. There is a 2025 player in the class that this is exactly happening to. And Connor Booth is a guy who's getting recruited still by several Power 5 programs that nobody knows about. And he does not want to go out there and publicly state who they are. But I can just tell you it's multiple Power 5s that if that story ever broke, like that stuff was happening, I think it would really open the eyes. But right now, everybody just feels like Nebraska got a great Nebraska kid. Connor Booth could go straight from being a great Nebraska kid, staying home to play for the Huskers to play running back, to national dude, if that's what he wanted to do. But he wants to be running back for Nebraska.
Yeah, it's interesting. We were talking off air about a kid that I followed for a long time, and Sebastian Serco, who you let me know moved to Florida to try and
apparently wasn't following him that closely,
up his stock a little bit. And it brought up an interesting question. In this day and age of the way high school football is, specifically in Omaha, is there benefit for kids to move to a Florida or Georgia or Texas and try to get, whatever it may be, higher caliber competition, more exposure? How do you look at that?
Again, you're playing with fire. I think number one, there are programs that can be completely receptive of that kind of situation. Then there are those that will be completely dismissive and anti that player that's moving in, trying to take away time or a position that somebody else was holding out for that had played with that group of seniors their whole entire lives. We had that happen down in Rockwall in Texas. We had a kid from Kansas come down to Texas after our quarterback went off to go to college, and this kid went down there and set the world on fire. He had a pretty good little wide receiver named Jackson Smith and Jigba to throw to, but I mean, the point is that you can go down there. You really have to trust in the system. You really have to find the right fit where you're really looking for that one guy to kind of elevate you. You can really fall into the wrong kind of system and the wrong kind of folks that are around the team. And I think, though, I mean, I kind of shared with you offline. I felt like, I feel like personally the talent around the state of Nebraska is at an all-time high. It has been for 3 or 4 years. I think that you're seeing guys like Christian Jones and Chase Lofton and Malachi Coleman and Carter Nelson. I don't think that this is going to stop. I think you've legitimately got national talent here, because I think you nailed it. You've got Huddle that's right there on your desktop. I think that these guys can go out there now, and Nebraska used to be a flyover state, didn't have the population. So when you want to find a guy, you got to go all the way to Ainsworth. You're not going to find typically 2 guys in Omaha. This year you can. This year you can find more than 2 guys in Omaha.
Yeah, we already brought up Tyson Terry and
absolutely.
Chase Lofton,
I mean, Lincoln, you're going to find a couple guys in the Lincoln area. I mean, it's really fascinating where Nebraska recruiting is really at. I think Nebraska will have double-digit D1 guys again this year. And I think that's going to be a very consistent theme kind of moving forward.
We're talking to Brian Munson from Husker Online and On 3. We kind of talked about it a little bit to open it up and the benefits of waiting to commit. And occasionally we've seen the downfall of committing early too. When we see a guy like Dylan Raiola, who, according to On 3 at the beginning of the 2024 rankings, was the number 1 player in the country, commits to Ohio State, takes a little bit of a drop, flips his commitment to Georgia, takes a little bit of a drop. Now he's the 71st ranked player in the country after the very last On 3 ratings that come out. Do you think that is a circumstance of committing, Or do you think that's just a matter of that's a one-off situation, and if he was still uncommitted, we maybe still be talking about him at the top of the list?
So there's two things that are in play there. His rating and his ranking.
Yeah.
Right? Rating stays flat. Ranking falls. What happens? He's had some people move past him, in that game. Is that an indication of committing too soon? Is that something that plays into the opinion of, doing that? Played for the number 1 team in Georgia.
Yeah.
He played for Buford, man.
And did really well.
And did incredibly well. So if you're telling me that it's flat after doing that and then going to the Polynesian Bowl and doing well,
as well as anybody could have in that situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, I think the on-3 ranking was critical. I think that that being the third or the fourth in that horse race, we're not going to hear the end of it, not anytime soon. However, Powers is one of the best that there is in the business. I had a chance to meet with him in San Antonio. I would stand by what it is that he's seeing. I think Chad Simmons, a guy that, probably weighs into that somewhat, and Sam Spiegelman, met him in San Antonio too. Some of the best in the business. And I don't think Shannon would put those guys out there if he didn't feel like they were. So I just feel like, I think that could have been a lot to do with that. I don't think it has as much to do with the conspiracy theory that he flipped on his commitment from Georgia to Nebraska.
Sure.
I think a lot of guys want to kind of embrace that. Look, I'll just cut through it. Nebraska potentially, hopefully, has gotten a generational type talent at quarterback for the first time in how long?
Yeah.
Tommy?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, Eric Crouch. I mean, it depends on where you want to kind of go with it, but I think he's hopefully in that bucket now, a generational type talent quarterback.
Sorry, I don't mean to step on you, but do you think we often overlook Eric Crouch as that guy because he was from the state? Like, there wasn't this big recruiting battle. Because obviously, when we talk about Tommy, there's the discussion of the in-state schools in Florida and the Notre Dame factor, and then in the last hour, he picks Nebraska over Notre Dame. But with Eric Crouch, it was just kind of like, okay, despite all the Bobby Newcomb stuff. Well, he was a Millard North guy.
I think that plays into it too.
Sure.
I mean, even from the way that the team was set up, I mean, the way that Bobby, started out with the first play from scrimmage in the spring game and houses it for over 90 yards. It was kind of like he was on the scene, Superman on the scene right away. And Crouch was kind of fighting for that love, fighting for that respect. And I know that while he was a great athlete and they kind of toyed with him doing some different things and whatever, I think that what really kind of comes back to it all is that he was a winner. He was still a great athlete and kind of fought through some really difficult things. But I do think the whole Millard North thing kind of plays into there somewhat. He does get kind of missed because didn't win that national championship. But Heisman Trophy winner, you can't forget about him.
Right.
Tommy, never going to forget about that dude. Winning 3, being MVP all 3 times. I mean, just insane. Could
even in a loss, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, it's our winning 2 MVP 3 times. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Since we're talking about Millard North, Fred Petito retired. So that retires pretty much the last of the triple option offenses in the state of Nebraska. What do you think changing that system does for the players at Millard North from a recruiting perspective?
Did you read my article yesterday at all? Because I mentioned this. It was very interesting to hear Mooberry and Caden talk about it a little bit, because it was there are several pillars I think that are going to be embraced and will forever be embraced that Coach Petito did. And he established at Millard North.
And when we had Alan Burrell in here, he said that as much too.
So I interviewed Coach Burrell yesterday.
He's a dude.
What a fantastic guy.
He's a dude.
And honestly was getting props silently from other people around the room when he was there.
Yeah.
Very, very, very well respected guy. And what he wants to do at Millard North is got to be music to the ears of guys like Matt Rule and everybody else at Nebraska. He wants to bring and make football more like track. He wants to bring the speed element and start to emphasize that and start training those guys like track guys. That's probably the next. So where you had this kind of antiquated offenses, in Nebraska that we have seen, graduate to what West Side's doing, what Gretna's doing, what other schools around the area are doing. And then you kind of see the last of those guys, kind of right off into the sunset. The next thing, and this is kind of maybe it's in the background, it's not really in the forefront. I think that Coach Burrell can do this now, is that he could really bring and really kind of put athleticism at the forefront of building their team. And I think that that's really the next thing that you're going to see here in Omaha. That's going to be like, okay, we're going to become that team that's going to be known as being the fastest team in the Metroplex. We want to emphasize speed. We're going to show how we're going to use it. We're going to turn up and make it to where, we're running, no huddle stuff, and tempo is a huge deal. And we're going to be the best conditioned and the fastest guys out there. I could see that definitely becoming a thing around here.
Miller South has done a bunch of that.
Yep, they have. Absolutely.
It's Brian Munson, Musker Online and On 3 and Texas and everywhere
Am I
else.
off the hot seat?
You're off. We appreciate it. 2 whole segments, and I feel like we could have went for another hour.
Oh, it was.
I apologize. Awesome. Was there anything we didn't ask that you would like to touch
on? Maybe the one thing I'm going to talk about next week is going to be I want to catch Jackson Carpenter next week. I think that guy in the end is going to be somebody that we're going to be talking about being a top 5 player in the state.
Oh.
I really feel like his athleticism is overlooked. He's probably a summer camp injury away from getting an offer a long time ago. Didn't have to wait until January. He could have picked it up a long time ago. He's that good of an athlete. So really watch Jackson Carpenter. I think he's a 10-5, 37-inch vertical jump wide receiver / athlete. And I think we're going to have some really good stuff on him after next week.
Could he beat you in a foot race?
You know what? if he gets past my grasp and holding him back and trying to tackle him from behind, yeah, probably. He's probably going to get away from
Look out for that article and a whole lot more from Brian Munson at Brian Munson _ on Twitter. You can find all of his work at huskeronline.com as well. Thank you very much for being here tonight, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We
really appreciate it.
We talked to Brian about Huddle, and if you want to upgrade your Huddle profile, you could do so at Going Vertical Omaha. We'll have you come out and be tested in that 100-yard dash and a 40. We'll see how much you can bench press. We'll even see how high you can jump. We'll put all of that work on footage for you on your Huddle page. We'll also give you a 3 to 5 minute interview showcasing who you are to coaches at Going Vertical Omaha. Check out goingverticalomaha.com to register for our combine classes today. We'll be right back finding out what's trending on social media on 1620 The Zone.
Hey everyone, Dan Campanen here for all 10. Yes, you heard me right, 10 of Pepper Jack's great local locations. If you're just as hungry as I am tonight on this President's Day, what a better way to celebrate George Washington and Abe Lincoln than to get a steak gunner Philly with all the vegetables and a little bit of jalapeno juice to make it extra spicy. If your stomach just started to rumble, you got to go to Pepper Jack's.
Are you looking to be part of a winning tradition? The Bellevue University Bruins could be the right fit for you. Whether on the court or on the field, track or course, our student athletes strive and succeed. This year, Bellevue teams and individuals have combined to win 11 conference championships, with 8 teams qualifying for their national tournaments. Plus, nearly 50 student athletes were also named to all conference teams. Find out more about our tradition of excellence at BUBruins.com.
Did that trash or recycling truck roll by your house without stopping again? Hi, I'm Megan with Papillion Sanitation. At Papillion Sanitation, trash and recycling is our passion. From residential to commercial, we've cleaned up Omaha and surrounding areas for more than 30 years. So if your home or business needs reliable, friendly trash or recycle service, check out papillion-sanitation.com today and see how our customer service and professionalism can't be matched. Head over to papillion-sanitation.com to upgrade your trash or recycling service today.
It's cold, it's windy, you're stuck inside, but not for long. Spring will be here before you know it. And if you want to get off the couch and enjoy the outdoors when the mercury starts to rise, head over to Foresman'sFinest.com today. Let the finest deck builders in the Omaha area come build you an outdoor experience you will love. A deck, a patio with a cover, there isn't much Forsman's can't do. Check out Foresman'sFinest.com and have your dream outdoor experience in 2024.
Hey Jays fans, it's hoop season and you know what that means. Jerry Ryan has the best selection in town for all things Creighton gear. Stop by Jerry Ryan at 78th and Dodge for your quarter zips in all shades of Jays blue, plus jackets, vest, winter coats, you name it. They have it. Multiple Jays options for men and women from Peter Millar, Cutter and Buck, and Johnny O. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and dress like the coaches do.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
The temperatures are dropping fast, and Old Man Winter is right around the corner. If your home isn't going to win the battle against the cold this year, let the #1 roofer in Omaha for 12 consecutive years come fight the battle for you. Let Pyramid Roofing come out and replace your gutters, your siding, your windows. They do it all. Give Pyramid a call tonight at 402-502-9300 or check out pyramidroof.com to book a free estimate today. Tell Old Man Winter to take a hike.
PyramidRoof.com, never settle for less.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with After Hours. Thursday is Spaghetti Night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
It's pro time, Nebraska. The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded into the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent at the CHI Healthcare Center in downtown Omaha. Have fun with family and friends and get to know this team and feel the energy that they are bringing to Nebraska. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
Pro volleyball season is here in Omaha. Chesterman Coca-Cola and Hy-Vee have partnered with the Omaha Supernovas. Right now, when you stop by any Omaha area Hy-Vee and pick up 2 12-packs of Coke, you can get a third one free. Plus, if you need to stay hydrated, do it with the all-new Body Armor Zero Sugar. You can get 10 for just $10. Coke and any Hy-Vee, keeping the Omaha Supernovas super.
You're listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back inside the After Hours Lounge on a Monday night, 6:58. Brought to you by Bellevue University. If you want to keep up to date on all things Bellevue athletics, download the BU Bruins app to your smartphone tonight. I wanted to keep right. We could have went here for like another hour, Brian.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was great stuff. But we got to get to the social media soundbite where Dan Campinen has been patiently waiting his ability to talk tonight about this topic that he's very passionate about that he found on social media. That is this. Dan, care to explain who and what that was?
Gentlemen, that was a name by Larry the Legend Bird, and he obviously did not enjoy the rest of his weekend because the All-Star game was a crap show. As we all know, it ended in, I believe it was 211 to 184. Any semblance of defense? Gone. Any idea of it being a competitive game? Gone. it just being a fun little show for all of the NBA's best players to throw up full court shots and smack each other on the back and say, ha, 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 ha. Aren't we all so good at basketball? That is unfortunately what we got last night out of NBA.
I make a point here, though.
Sure.
It
Go
kind of
ahead.
like I get your sentiment, and I get where Larry Bird is coming from. And obviously, Larry Bird has already forgotten more about basketball than I've ever done. But can we appreciate the fact that how difficult it would be to score 211 points in a 60-minute contest if there weren't 5 other guys there? Like, don't get me wrong. They can't even spell defense out on the court while this game is going on. It's incredibly impressive that 211 points were scored in 60 minutes. To your point, and half of them were like trick shots. Anyway. Am I wrong in this? Am I completely off base here?
I don't know. It's just so boring. It's just look. I am on record. I think all-star games are done in the first place.
Don't wait for an argument.
There is no contest to be had here. Nobody really cares if they win or lose.
Or gains anything.
It's worse than an exhibition, right? Because at least in an exhibition game, you've got 2 teams who are probably at the beginning of their season trying to work out who they're going to be. They want to figure out what they do in certain game situations. There is no game situation in an all-star game because it's not a game.
And there's no benefit to winning. There's no like people made fun of the in tournament enough just because like it was a tournament for the sake of a tournament, and then all the players got $500K at the end of it, but that's it. And there isn't even that carrot at the end of the stick for the All-Star game. But I don't know. I don't want it to go away. But I don't know how you could fix it. I don't know how you get a bunch of millionaires off of something they don't benefit.
It's not going to affect my life. I don't care if it goes away. I don't watch it. I don't pay attention. I don't care. I don't care about any All-Star game, Pro Bowl, the MLB All-Star game, the NHL, the NBA. I don't watch it. I don't care. So let it die. It doesn't bother me.
At least you get something out of it.
Nothing.
The winner gets home field.
Who cares? None of them care.
People that are independent.
So there is one quote that I want to go to from the ESPN All-Star Weekend, but most importantly, for me, it's an all-star game. So I'll never look at it as being super competitive. It's always fun. I don't know what they can do to make it more competitive. I don't know. I think everyone looks at it. It's a break. So I don't think that anyone wants to come here and compete.
Exactly. It is a mid-season mini vacation.
You know what? Not to poo-poo Larry Bird's generation, but like I think back to that scene from The Last Dance where where Michael was talking about Kobe. He's like, that little Laker boy's going to bring the game to all of us. He takes it to everybody in that room was looking at the All-Star game as a break. So I don't want to hear this generation. It wasn't like that when I was a kid. Everybody in that room, listen to the way they talk and respond to Michael when he says that. Everybody was looking for it. This is not a new thing, by the way.
It is.
I don't think I don't think it is.
So real quick, you can say that it's not, Jimmy, and that's perfectly fine. But right now, you're wrong. Because back in the 90s, when they literally played the All-Star game, you know what the final score of Kobe's 5th All-Star game was?
86 to 94 or whatever.
No, it was 110 to 109. They took it very seriously. It was a normal NBA game. It is so. Here is how I think. Number one, number two, how you actually make it worthwhile for everybody. Either give them a boatload of money at the very end of it, or literally
nobody wants to
take that singular game out of it completely. No more All-Star game. Replace it with the Rising Stars game.
You know what would be fun?
Because those are kids who actually want to play basketball and want to prove that they're good enough to be on.
You know what would be fun is if they just interchanged NBA guys in the celebrity game. That would be fun.
That would be worthwhile.
It would be as meaningful. It would just add a comedy.
Here's what I'll say about it. Look, I'm not like a casual sports fan, right? I'm obviously I pay attention to pretty much everything. I don't watch All-Star games for the same reason I don't watch preseason football, because the feeling is not the same, right? I know watching a preseason game, if my team loses, it doesn't really matter. There are no stakes. There's nothing on the line. And it's the same at an All-Star game. There's nothing at stake here. There's nothing on the line. The reason we watch sports is for the dramatic moments, the moments of heroism,
and
where someone rises to the occasion, right? Because the stakes are high and their team needs to perform at a level to get them over the line and get a key victory. Those are the things we love about sports. That's why we continue to come back and pay attention. Preseason football, all-star games, exhibitions, there's nothing on the line and there's no reason to care.
Hey, Dan, I want to get the start of the USFL spring football season.
Yes.
And that's why these spring leagues struggle so much too, is because you do have the NFL, you have the NBA, you've got these decade-long rivalries. You have a hatred for another team. There's vested interest in the outcome of games, rooting for or rooting against a certain individual or team that you see. You know, I think that's what you see a lot of these semi-pro teams struggle, just because there's no history. You don't have yeah, you might look at the New Jersey Generals and say, "Oh, I'm going to root for that team like their mascot." That doesn't give you any sort of feeling behind a win or a loss, though. So it's just an interesting debate here. If you missed the social media soundbite tonight, I'm from Larry Bird, as you always do. SoundCloud.com. By Pixel Fire Marketing. If your business needs help with social media marketing or Pixel Fire Marketing is here to help us. Talking to a local business owner today, on the show. They called Pixel Fire Marketing and they couldn't have been more happy to set me an in because of what Pixel Fire Marketing was able to do, not only with their social media ads, but building them a website. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com today for more information. We'll be right back on topics around the sport that doesn't involve an all-star game. 1620 The Zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Fords Finest Decks. Cooler temperatures are here. Start to warm up outside. Like me, and you kind of have that one patch of snow that's finally disappearing from the corner lot where the tree gives it shade. All that grass is also just standing up. Concrete patio. You bring that concrete, have Forsman's Finest Decks build you the finest deck Omaha has to offer this spring. Head over to Forsman'sFinest.com to have your dream deck built.
The dream of playing the sport you love may be closer than you think. The Bellevue University Athletic Department proudly sports the best scholarship funding among NAIA programs in the state. To compete with the best, we need to recruit the best. All incoming freshmen earn a $5,000 scholarship when they enroll at Bellevue University. Learn more by looking us up at BUBruins.com and reach out to your future coach today.
There's never been a better time to choose a new career path than right now. Hi, I'm Tracy with Papillion Sanitation. If you're at a point in your life where you want a career, not a job, Papillion Sanitation is the place for you. From 401k options to opportunities for career advancement, come make Papillion Sanitation your future. Check out papillion-sanitation.com today to apply and make a change for the better. Papillion Sanitation, equal opportunity employer.
It's cold, it's windy, you're stuck inside, but not for long. Spring will be here before you know it. And if you want to get off the couch and enjoy the outdoors when the mercury starts to rise, head over to Forsman'sFinest.com today. Let the finest deck builders in the Omaha area come build you an outdoor experience you will love. A deck, a patio with a cover, there isn't much Forsman's can't do. Check out Forsman'sFinest.com and have your dream outdoor experience in 2024.
Hey Jays fans, it's hoop season and you know what that means. Jerry Ryan has the best selection in town for all things Creighton gear. Stop by Jerry Ryan at 78th and Dodge for your quarter zips in all shades of Jays blue, plus jackets, vest, winter coats, you name it. They have it. Multiple Jays options for men and women from Peter Millar, Cutter and Buck, and Johnny O. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and dress like the coaches do.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Pro volleyball season is here in Omaha. Chesterman Coca-Cola and Hy-Vee have partnered with the Omaha Supernovas. Right now, when you stop by any Omaha area Hy-Vee and pick up 2 12-packs of Coke, you can get a third one free. Plus, if you need to stay hydrated, do it with the all-new Body Armor Zero Sugar. You can get 10 for just $10. Coke and any Hy-Vee, keeping the Omaha Supernovas super.
The temperatures are dropping fast, and Old Man Winter is right around the corner. If your home isn't going to win the battle against the cold this year, let the #1 roofer in Omaha for 12 consecutive years come fight the battle for you. Let Pyramid Roofing come out and replace your gutters, your siding, your windows. They do it all. Give Pyramid a call tonight at 402-502-9300 or check out pyramidroof.com to book a free estimate today. Tell Old Man Winter to take a hike.
PyramidRoof.com, never settle for less.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
Tell us how you feel on the J-Tech Construction and Solar Zone Twitter feed. Reach Gary, Nick, Connor, Josh, and John anytime on the J-Tech Construction and Solar Zone Twitter feed. Contact the official exterior and solar experts of the Huskers. J-Tech Construction at yourexteriorexperts.com.
I'm former Husker Terry Keneally.
And I'm former Husker Titus Adams.
Titus and I used to sack quarterbacks, but now we're fighting for the children of East Omaha.
Terry and I are on the board of the Q's Fund, which supports the Q's school system, made up of Holy Name, All Saints, and Sacred Heart School, which I am a proud graduate of.
Our students receive a values-based education with the family support they need.
And they go on to graduate high school at a 96% rate.
Learn more about our children at qschools.org.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
We have a really quick edition of Buy or Sell coming up. We're brought to you by Papillion Sanitation. You can head over to papillion-sanitation.com, become a driver. Those are a $10,000 stick around bonus as well. Dan?
Yes, gentlemen, former Nebraska women's basketball player Ashley Scoggin has filed a lawsuit against the school amid allegations of an inappropriate relationship with former Nebraska assistant Chuck Love. Buy or sell, this being a big problem for not just the Nebraska women's basketball team, but the university as a whole.
This is going to be an issue for a lot of people. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be an issue for Ashley Scoggin as well. I mean, there's video proof of this relationship from former players, and she's going to have to probably relive some pretty bad memories in her life. This stump. Listen, Trev Alberts and Amy Williams were both mentioned in this lawsuit as well. It's just not going to go well for anybody. I think it's going to be a lose-lose situation for everybody involved.
Yeah, and in reading this, I'm buying, by the way. This is very, very bad for everyone involved. There were some details after the lawsuit filing that I was not initially aware of, I suppose.
I don't think a lot of people were.
That and the allegations by Ashley Scoggin are pretty damning. If they're true, we don't know if they're true, but she's claiming that she was blamed for the relationship, labeled a seducer and a liar, and that she was put in a room with her teammates and was allowed to be berated for hours. And if that's all true, and I'm not saying that I know, it's all allegations at this point, but if that's true, I don't know how Amy Williams is going to have a job.
So the quote unquote video proof comes from her teammates getting a key to Chuck Love's hotel room
and found her in there.
No. They sat in there and waited, and she opened the door and they videotaped her walking in, and then they berated her there. And then if the allegations are true, the following day they had a team meeting where she was forced to stand up in front of everybody and was basically told how they felt about the situation. Now, that's where my biggest problem comes from. The one caveat you're going to hear from a bunch of people is going to be that they were both adults at the time, which is true. But you also have a mentor, coach, superior situation with somebody that is reporting to them Obviously, you can have benefits from that situation as well. So there's a lot of things that is not going to come up well here for anybody involved in the situation, and you just hope that there is some sort of closure for both sides, and all the people that need to be held accountable are in this situation. That's the only way this comes out in any way good on the other end.
If everything that Ashley Scoggin claims turns out to be true, the university, Trev Alberts, and Amy Williams are going to be on the hook for a lot of damage.
Yeah, agreed. And we'll see how that all shakes out.
Yeah, all 26 pages of that lawsuit, which I took the liberty of reading once one of our members of this station posted it earlier today.
Yeah,
is fairly damning, to say the least.
Yeah.
If all of it is true, or even just a minor fraction of it is true, it's gonna
and here's
going to be heck to pay.
Here's the other part I don't think we mentioned is Ashley Scoggins also said that Amy Williams was aware that Chuck Love was doing this with multiple players.
Yeah.
And if that comes out to be true, that
she can't work there anymore.
Yeah, nobody under her are probably going to have a job. Dan?
So moving on from a lawsuit to a man who just likes to make himself a problem. Rick Pitino, after the 68-62 loss that St. John's took against tri-state rival Seton Hall, said that this was the most unenjoyable time of his life. He went on to say many, 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 many more things than that. But buy or sell, this being a good look for Rick Pitino to basically just trash your team immediately after a loss.
So he didn't even just trash the team. He tried like saving St. John's, but he said, do we have a
poopy facilities?
S blank facility? Yes, we do, but we're fixing that. He mentioned some of the guys that play for him and talked about how slow and unathletic they are. Here's the problem, though, is the first guy he mentions is Joel Soriano. He's a 6'11", 225-pound center. How many 6'11", 225-pound centers are winning 100-yard dashes? Not too many. He also went on to mention Chris Ledlam, who, by the way, was the leading scorer in the Ivy League at Harvard. He recruited him, and granted, it was in a shortened recruiting period. But this is a guy you brought in. Oh, by the way, you ran Posh Alexander out of town too.
Yeah.
This isn't just on, hey, we got here, there was a crappy roster.
Yeah, it's not a good look for Pitino. And if you watch the video of him in this press conference, he says everything so matter-of-factly. This is not a coach who's using the press conference to try and speak to his players. These are things that he believes,
yes,
that he feels are truths. He's not trying to motivate anyone with these comments. He's just saying what's on his mind. And so
there just happened to be a camera there.
Yeah. He's just like, look, my players are bad. These players are bad, and it's not fun. That's the summation of his press conference. Basically, and as a head coach, like, that is not a good thing for you to say.
Yeah, I mean, it gave really bad Deion Sanders at the start of his tenure vibe too. And it's just like,
it's Louis.
Is this we're coming? Is this where we live at now with the transfer portal being where it is? Like, we're just gonna get complete honesty from coaches. Hey, these guys suck, and I need new players.
They don't care if they leave because they're just going to go get a whole bunch of new ones.
And even if they're nice, they probably leave anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like it matters a whole lot. Hey, that was buy or sell. If you missed it tonight, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by the Omaha Supernovas. If you missed any of the opening half of the Omaha Supernova season, you can still catch the second half. Head over to supernovas.com to buy individual game tickets. You can still buy what's left of the season ticket packages as well. Head over to supernovas.com to make your purchase today. We'll be right back talking Westside Wrestling as the Class A state champion Westside Women's Wrestling are here in studio with us when we come back here in 1620 Zone.
Hey everyone, Dan Camden for Caddyshack's Bar and Grill. They have two amazing locations at 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. If you stop out tonight, you can grab a plate of Jay's Famous Meatloaf for just $10.95 and grab a bucket of domestic bottles for just $17. Caddyshack Bar and Grill is the official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly clear and chilly tonight. Low temperatures dipping back into the middle 20s. Mostly sunny and very warm for Tuesday. I look for a high in the mid 60s. More clouds, still pretty mild on Wednesday with a high near 60. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
Did that trash or recycling truck roll by your house without stopping again? Hi, I'm Megan with Papillion Sanitation. At Papillion Sanitation, trash and recycling is our passion. From residential to commercial, we've cleaned up Omaha and surrounding areas for more than 30 years. So if your home or business needs reliable, friendly trash or recycle service, check out papillion-sanitation.com today and see how our customer service and professionalism can't be matched. Head over to papillion-sanitation.com to upgrade your trash or recycling service today.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today. Are you looking to be part of a winning tradition? The Bellevue University Bruins could be the right fit for you. Whether on the court or on the field, track or course, our student athletes strive and succeed. This year, Bellevue teams and individuals have combined to win 11 conference championships, with 8 teams qualifying for their national tournaments. Plus, nearly 50 student athletes were also named to all conference teams. Find out more about our tradition of excellence at BUBruins.com.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
It's cold, it's windy, you're stuck inside, but not for long. Spring will be here before you know it. And if you want to get off the couch and enjoy the outdoors when the mercury starts to rise, head over to Foresman'sFinest.com today. Let the finest deck builders in the Omaha area come build you an outdoor experience you will love. A deck, a patio with a cover, there isn't much Forsman's can't do. Check out Foresman'sFinest.com and have your dream outdoor experience in 2024.
Graduation season will be here before you know it, and you can have the 402 barbecue truck come to your party or event you're hosting. Stop by the brick and mortar on 84th and Spring and try the food. Then, when you get the craving, come back and book the food truck to be the caterer for your event. Graduations, company outings, community events, they do it all. 402 Barbecue at 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by today and grab lunch.
The temperatures are dropping fast, and Old Man Winter is right around the corner. If your home isn't going to win the battle against the cold this year, let the #1 roofer in Omaha for 12 consecutive years come fight the battle for you. Let Pyramid Roofing come out and replace your gutters, your siding, your windows. They do it all. Give Pyramid a call tonight at 402-502-9300 or check out pyramidroof.com to book a free estimate today. Tell Old Man Winter to take a hike.
PyramidRoof.com, never settle for less.
Hey Jays fans, it's hoop season and you know what that means. Jerry Ryan has the best selection in town for all things Creighton gear. Stop by Jerry Ryan at 78th and Dodge for your quarter zips in all shades of Jays blue, plus jackets, vests, winter coats, you name it. They have it. Multiple Jays options for men and women from Peter Millar, Cutter and Buck, and Johnny O. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and dress like the coaches do.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches? I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to boosting reviews, fixing maps, to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $99 special offer. Click fixmygbp.com for more details.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
24 on a Monday night. Bob Mulligan and his Omaha West Side Warriors have joined us in studio tonight. Guys, thank you very much for being here. We greatly appreciate it, Coach. I want to start this off by asking, I think the question that the entire state, if there's a mat in the gym and Bob and Chuck Mulligan are out on the mat, who's coming out on top?
I'd like to say I am now. You know, Mike Sauter did a real number on his knee last year, so I got that advantage. Plus, you know, I'm smarter, more athletic,
better looking.
Yeah, better looking for sure. So I would like
The
to say it's
beard.
me.
Yeah.
You know, but honestly, the match is gonna probably go 30 to 45 seconds because we're both gonna be done. That's about all the wrestling we got in us.
I don't know what I was hoping to hear out of that. That was probably the best answer I could have
It's about
got.
15 seconds longer than I might be able to go at this point.
Listen, you guys have had a ton of success in this program, and some of the most vocal personalities in the sport out of Omaha West Side. This is still a very new program and still a very new sport to some degree from the quote unquote sanctioned portion of the NSAA. What has it been like to be a part of this group with this group of girls that has kind of been waving the flag for women's wrestling in the state of Nebraska?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this the other day. Reagan, when she was a freshman, it was just a team of her. So it was unsanctioned. We did all the kind of NSWCA stuff. I would drive her around. It'd just be me and her. Then we would go to year 2, and we had 3 wrestlers, 2 that competed at the state tournament. We had 1 medalist. We go to year 2, we had 5 wrestlers, all 5 medaled. We pulled out a runner-up finish. And then this year, you know, we had 17 girls on the team, 10 that competed at most of our varsity tournaments. We ended up qualifying 7 for the state tournament. And obviously we pulled out on top. It's been a cool journey, you know, to see it kind of from where it started to where it's going now. And it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
So earlier this season, there was some controversy involving we'll say a school official from the western part of the state who made some comments about girls wrestling. We don't need to mention him by name. Don't need to do that. But I found the comments to be extremely belittling and small-minded. I just wondered how you and the team, if you noticed that stuff.
You got anybody
and
on
how
your
you
roster
reacted
that
to
had any
it.
thoughts?
You know, we saw it, and I personally, I thought it wasn't just, you know, disrespectful to just girl wrestlers. I thought it was disrespectful to all female athletes.
Agreed.
You know, female that have tried to make a name in the world of, you know, especially in the world where men kind of have dominated everything. So it's just it was disrespectful to any female that, you know, is trying to accomplish stuff. We put it on the back burner. You know, it came at a time, you know, kind of going into districts and sub districts. So we tried to not think about it. You know, we wanted it not to kind of cloud our vision. It easily could have, you know, taken us down a different path, you know, where we're worried about that. So we knew that it was there. We knew what he said, but we didn't let it affect us. Like I said, we just kind of put it on the back burner. I don't know if you saw, we had some shirts at the state tournament that had a message for him.
Yeah, that was great.
That was kind of our little, little jab.
Awesome.
I need you all to turn your radios up at home. Women's wrestling is here, isn't going anywhere, and it's awesome. Back to you for a second, Coach. 2-time Metro Wrestling Association Coach of the Year. Got an obvious chance to win it this year as well. What does that honor mean to you?
It's humbling to know that I have the respect of the other coaches because it's voted on by the coaches of the Metro. Like that one person doesn't just say, hey, this is yours. So it's nice to know that I have that respect of the other coaches of the Metro. I mean, I just work really hard. I don't work and do what I do for the accolades. Like it's kind of,
I'm waiting for a coach to say that. All I do this is for the accolades.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like I said, it's nice to be recognized. Some people think I deserve it. Some people might not think I deserve it. I don't know. I'm going to do what I do and work as hard as I can as I possible to give the girls what they need and help them be successful.
Winning a state title is, you know, it's the pinnacle of every wrestler's career. I'm just wondering, with women's wrestling being such a new sport in this state, how do you go about, without really having a lot of experience to draw on, how do you go about preparing wrestlers to go into the state tournament with that, you know, that mindset of
limited experience?
Yeah, of being ready to take the gold medal.
Yeah. We structured our schedule this year that the state tournament honestly probably wasn't even the hardest tournament we wrestled in. And we opened up the tournament in Iowa City at the Dan Gable Donnybrook, which every single bracket had multiple Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota state placers in it. Reagan won her weight, and she had 2 Iowa State champs, 2 Nebraska State champs, and multiple Nebraska State runner-up. Macy wrestled who ended up being an Iowa State champ this year. Zoe beat an Iowa State champ and an Iowa State runner-up. So we had to beat people the entire time. And then week 2, we went to the Council Bluffs Classic, which is a huge tournament at the Mid-America Center. Then we drove 10 hours down to Texas and wrestled in Dallas against some of the top 10 teams in the Texas area.
Wow.
Then we went to Kansas and wrestled 8 of the top 10 teams in Kansas. With Kansas, and then the top team in Missouri was also at that tournament. So we go and seek competition. We leave the area because we understand how bright those lights get at state, and we want it to not be anything new to them. Like, they were all 2-day tournaments, so having a 2-day tournament's hard. Wrestling at a high competitive level for 2 to 3 days is extremely hard. It's hard to do it for 1. It's really, really hard to do it for 2 or 3. So that's how we do our preparation just through the season. And we don't really care about losses early on. Like, obviously, it'd be great to say everybody's undefeated, but we go seek challenges. So it's okay if we lose early on, because we know what we're actually preparing for.
We're talking to Bob Mulligan, the head coach of the Westside Women's Wrestling Program. He's brought Reagan Rostetter, Zoe Barber, and Macy Barber with him tonight. Coach, I want to get to your team in a second, but talk us through. You talked about going to tournaments and being experienced and all that, but talk us through the roller coaster you guys went on after Thursday. You guys were down 20 points to come back from that deficit to win the state title. You rallied back and to win the whole thing. Walk us through how it happened and what it meant to you guys as a team to take that trophy home.
Yeah, Thursday was, I don't want to say it was disappointing, because we put 3 girls into the four girls into the semifinals. We lost a couple matches that, on paper we thought we'd win, or, that we had a good chance to. So that's disappointing. Like, in that way, it's disappointing. I don't think our performance overall was disappointing, but there's just a couple moments where it was disappointing. And Grand Island, credit to them, had a really, really good Thursday. They won a lot of good matches. They won a lot of matches we didn't think that they'd win, or on paper, they weren't supposed to win. And then we come into Friday, and all we talked about was just finishing our job. Like, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. It doesn't matter what Grand Island's doing. It doesn't matter what other teams are doing. We know what our goals are, so we have to just keep wrestling. We left Friday night, and we realized, like, oh man, we actually are, like, we have a chance. We're in a punch. We're in striking distance of this. So when we came into Saturday, the whole message was we have to win our matches. Obviously not just for our own personal goals of being state medalists and being state champions, but in the team aspect of we have to win. And we only had one head-to-head matchup with Grand Island, and very fortunately, we won it. Macy took the Grand Island girl down in overtime to win it. And then we get into the championship matches, and they had 1 girl and we had 2, and we needed to win both. And I love that we didn't want to worry about saying, oh, we need Grand Island to lose. It was, let's just do our job and let's go win the 2 matches. Let us win it and not somebody else lose it.
We'll talk to Reagan, who joins us, and she had a very good tournament. We'll just put it that way. Reagan Rostetter joins us here on After Hours. For you, you not only did you have a great tournament, you've had a great career at Westside, and now you're ranked as the number 13 130-pound wrestler in the country. What does that mean to you to be nationally ranked? Any kind of hard feelings about that number being maybe a little bit lower than you'd like it to be?
Not really. Last year I wasn't ranked at all because I didn't really compete last year as much as I wanted to with an injury. But just being ranked number 13th in the country is pretty insane, honestly. I never thought I would be up in the top 15, but all my hard work and dedication has paid off.
So now you're 4-time state champ. When you started wrestling, did you think this was a possibility?
Honestly, no. I thought I was going to have to wrestle boys my whole life.
Yeah.
I didn't think girls wrestling was going to be sanctioned at all.
What's the biggest, walk us through that. What's the biggest difference? Because obviously you guys are kind of the pioneers of this thing, right? When you're growing up, you probably had to wrestle a couple of male athletes. What's the biggest difference between having to do that versus having to wrestle female wrestlers?
Nothing really has changed. I still put in the same amount of work I would have put in if I had to wrestle boys. Just like going out there, still taking one match at a time and just basically wrestling.
Well, that's what you did. You took it one match at a time, and in that span, all you did was have 100 pins, and you set that at the state tournament this year. How much was that kind of was that like a personal achievement that you were going for heading into the tournament? What did that moment feel like when you were able to pull it off?
Yeah, so I went into the state tournament with 98 pins. I knew I was gonna accomplish it, but when Bob was talking that I had like maybe 87, 88 pins still halfway through the season, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get it. But I just kept putting my mind to it and knowing that at districts, sub-districts, and all those tournaments that I just pretty much had to go out there and pin the girls if I wanted to accomplish the 100th pin.
Wrestling is such a unique sport. It's an individual athletic event, but you're also on a team of individuals. And so you have individual state titles, and now you have a team title. I mean, like, which one means more to you, having the 4 individuals or the 1 team title?
Honestly, both of them. We talked about it all year with us getting state runner-ups last year. Our goal was to get state champs this year, and it honestly means a lot knowing that I have girls behind my back and wanting to give me that as my senior year, and it just means a lot.
Well, fortunately, unfortunately, 4 state championships mean this is your last year at Westside. Do you know what your plans after high school are?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Shattern State College.
Are you going to continue to wrestle?
Yep.
Very cool. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And beyond that, a lot of wrestlers go on to compete in MMA. Is that something you pay attention to, or are you interested in it?
I don't pay attention to that really much. I like freestyle a lot for college. So
Right on.
That's what I'm going to do.
Well, congrats on all your success, and thank you for being here tonight. We'll go over to Zoe. Zoe Barber joins us in studio tonight as well. Not only do you win the individual state title, but your win helps this team clinch the state championship. Walk us through what the mindset was before you walk out onto the mat, when the moment happens, and when you walk off.
I think the mindset was like, I was really focused, but also I was like very calm.
Sure.
I was super calm. And going into the match, I knew that she was going to try to put an arm bar. I knew she was going to be like a heavy hand fighter. I knew how strong she was. And
Had you wrestled her previously?
No,
Okay.
I actually haven't. We had to go to Kansas, but
Okay.
I watched her videos from basically the week of state. I watched some of her videos.
Sure.
To like see what she would do. And going into
Can you take one step forward for us, close to the mic? There you go. Perfect.
I think like going into the match, like it was very like, yeah, it was stressful, but like not as stressful it was. And then winning it, I think I was so happy. I was ecstatic about my state championship and the team championship. When Bob told me when I hugged him, you won us the state title, I started crying. I was so happy. And then going into like where
Did you know beforehand it was a possibility or no?
No, I
Okay.
didn't. I was just so excited. I was so happy. And then going over and hugging everyone after, hugging my mom, hugging my sister, hugging all of our teammates.
What's your mom's name?
Ava.
Shout out to Ava. Hopefully.
It was a good, like, it was fun. I was happy. I was excited.
So your journey's been really interesting. Tell us, just walk us through a little bit of this path to the gold medal after you transferred from Plattsmouth.
So when I won my state title at Plattsmouth, obviously, like, no hate towards Plattsmouth. They just didn't treat girls wrestling basically how it needed to be. Like, they didn't treat it as like a boys wrestling basically in Plattsmouth, which I still love Plattsmouth no matter what. That is where I'm from. That is where basically I went to school kind of. And going into sophomore year, there was a lot of mental struggles with dad and everything.
Sure.
And then going like wrestling, losing against my best friend in semis last year really like kind of sucked.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I'm not going to hate anyone like that year. That was a long time. Like, I think it was a long time ago. It was like off my mind. Didn't care about it at all. I'm happy that I transferred. It was a good idea.
The comeback's always a great story, though, right? You finished fifth a year ago, and you brought it up, but this is also your second state championship. You won it as a freshman. You have a chance to win a third. What does that opportunity to win the possible third state title mean to you?
I feel like the possibility. I feel like I can do it. If I put my mind to it, then I know I can do it. I just have to like go out there with all my heart and know that I can do it.
You became a nationally ranked wrestler last year. Why was it important to you to get that recognition?
I feel like it is very important to get that recognition, but also like I don't physically care about rankings. I don't think rankings matter. Like state of Nebraska rankings don't really care. Like national rankings, like I don't really care because like it's a ranking. It's
somebody else's opinion.
Yeah, it's someone else's opinion about a wrestler. Like me and Reagan are both ranked, but it's like their opinion about someone else.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, it's amazing. It's cool. I love that I am, but like I don't care about it that much.
Yeah.
Reagan shoots on you. Can you sprawl out of it?
No. Monkey arm.
You obviously have one more year of high school to get through, but have you thought about college at all?
Yes, I've been talking to some colleges, which I do want to wrestle in college, but I also want to do sports photography.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Right on.
Well, thank you very much for being here tonight. Congratulations on all the success. We're talking Omaha West Side girls wrestling with their head coach, Bob Mulligan, who's brought a few of his wrestlers in. And the last one is Macy. Macy Barber joins us in studio as well. Remember what we talked about off air?
Yep.
Okay. What are your long-term goals at West Side, and what are your short-term goals before next season?
My long-term goals for the rest of my West Side career is kind of filling Reagan's shoes. Reagan was a great team leader for us. And
I got a giant smile at her, by the way.
Yeah, Reagan was our club teammate. She brought in our other club teammates to wrestle with us, Mara and Kenzie. It's big shoes to fill.
What have you learned from watching your sister and all her success?
I watched Zoe for a really long time before I started wrestling, and watching Zoe be successful always makes me want to cry. It's scary when Zoe's successful because you don't know if anything is going to happen. You don't know if anything's going to go wrong. And 99% of the time, everything goes right. And it's great. And I've learned a lot. Me and Zoe wrestle pretty different, but we have the same mentality. We've been through the same stuff. We like the same things. It's great.
If Zoe shoots on you, can you sprawl out of it?
Probably not.
Okay. Hey, now that Omaha West Side's won a state championship as a team, how much has it been discussed, if at all, about defending it and running it back next year?
Not much. We've been enjoying this one. I know that we're having more competition come in as more girls come to wrestling. We've just been enjoying it though.
And wrestling's a tremendous commitment. You know, you've got all the training, the weight management, the hours in the practice room, all
Getting
those
cake and eating it too.
Right. It's
Reagan does not eat our cake.
But that's one of the things that people don't understand about wrestling is like it's not just the competition. There's so much more that has to go on behind the scenes to be ready for competition. And you saw your sister go through all that. What made you decide that wrestling was the sport for you?
Tony Vanderpool looked at me after I sat a million practices and watched Zoe wrestle. Looked at me and was like, "Why don't you just try it? Why don't you just try it?" And I thought about it for a week, and I went out and did it. And my first tournament was state in Grand Island.
What do you want? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I have really looked into sports journalism and writing about sports, and
She wants your job.
Don't you end up being a fat
No.
bald guy that talks? on
I
the
really
radio.
don't. I like the writing half of it.
Sure.
I
Don't do that
What-
either. But that's neither here nor there.
Westside gave me this like really cool job that I kind of do for Westside Wired, and
Yeah.
I interviewed both of them, and
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I really do. I like doing it.
It's
awesome.
It's a lot of fun. I was the editor in chief of my high school newspaper.
I don't think I'll be an editor.
Ask your parents what a newspaper was. Hey, if you we appreciate you guys being here tonight, though. Thank you very much. Congrats on all the success, Coach. We'll go back to you, kind of put a bow on this thing. What do you like about the state tournament format, and is there anything you'd like to change about it?
I mean, what's not to like? It is the greatest.
There was a few
state
people there this
tour-
year.
Yeah, and that's part of what not to like about it. You
Yeah.
know, it's the greatest high school tournament, not only in the state, but I think maybe region wide. It's amazing. Where else can you go where you're gonna get 15,000 people cheering you on?
Yep.
It's intimidating. Like, it's so cool. Like before the finals, when they did the light show and turned all the lights on, the Parade of Champions. I've seen it for 20 some years now, and I still get chills every time, even if I don't have a wrestler competing. I've been very fortunate. You know, I've had somebody competing or somebody from Westside competing for a while now, but even, you know, before when I don't have anybody competing, it still gives me chills. It's going to have to be different. I understand that, you know, especially as
because it's growing.
Yes.
right?
And as girls wrestling's growing, which is fantastic. I understand that we're not going to be able to keep the same format that we have. I'd love to keep it as close to it as we can. The girls deserve the spotlight. The girls deserve everything the boys get. The girls deserve the 15,000 people cheering their names, you know, and being the big fans. They deserve, you know, all the TV promos. They deserve all the interviews, all the newspaper, all the media. They deserve everything. I truly do get it though, that it's going to have to change and the format's going to have to be a little different. I'm not sure what that what that's going to look like moving forward. You know, I've heard a couple different things, some proposals, some ideas. I'm not going to speak on them just because I don't want to like say like, oh, this is what's going to happen. But there's a few that I like. There's a few I don't like. I hope and I trust Ron. Ron Higdon's been great. He's been one of the best things that's happened. You know, the state tournament was awesome before, but since he's kind of taken charge, the state wrestling tournament has definitely taken it even up a notch further. It is like he is a big reason for why it is what it is now. So I trust that he will make, you know, the right decisions and give everybody what they kind of. You're not going to make everybody happy.
Yep.
It's impossible, but you know, you just got to make the right people happy.
What's the next step for girls wrestling locally?
Just keep growing. You know, I'd love if eventually we could get to the Iowa model. You know, Iowa has a big, huge state tournament. They go 32-man brackets. They go, you know, they have their own weekend. They have a big production. You know, they have their own. The cool thing about Iowa is Iowa, you know, have their NSAA. They have a separate boys and girls division that kind of, you know, the girls
governing bodies.
Yeah, the girls governing body kind of takes control of the girls. I'd love if we could get that way. It just needs to keep growing. Like I said, I don't want it to just kind of be it can't be an afterthought. And it can't just be like, oh, this is awesome right now. And then in 5 years, they'd be like, remember when it was really cool 5 years ago? Like it has to keep staying the same.
Yeah, agreed. Could you beat Paul Lamanji in a wrestling match?
No way. No, absolutely not.
I don't think
I wouldn't want to try.
I don't think the 8 of us in this room could.
No, I wouldn't want to try.
Hey, Bob, we appreciate it. Thank you very much for being here. Congrats on all the success, and thank you very much for talking all the trash on Chuck that you did. If you missed any of the Omaha Westside Girls Wrestling Program's interview tonight, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by Going Vertical Omaha. Going Vertical Basketball Academy is the premier training facility in the Midwest. Working with athletes as young as kindergarten all the way up through the pros, GVBA offers a variety of packages from individual workouts to group lessons. They also offer elite level sports performance training to athletes of all sports. Check out the academy at goingverticalomaha.com tonight. We're going to put a bow on the show and wrap things up when we come back at 1620 The Zone.
Hey, everybody. John Schreiner here for Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. We all know Jerry Ryan is the premier suit buying experience in Omaha, but did you know Jerry Ryan is also an exclusive retailer of brands like Mizzen & Main and Johnny O, and you can get all your Creighton gear right there at Jerry Ryan Clothing. So stop by. It's Jerry Ryan Sportswear, 78th and Dodge. Get your suit game right and get your closet looking good today.
There's never been a better time to choose a new career path than right now. Hi, I'm Tracy with Papillion Sanitation. If you're at a point in your life where you want a career, not a job, Papillion Sanitation is the place for you. From 401k options to opportunities for career advancement, come make Papillion Sanitation your future. Check out papillion-sanitation.com today to apply and make a change for the better. Papillion Sanitation, equal opportunity employer.
The dream of playing the sport you love may be closer than you think. The Bellevue University Athletic Department proudly sports the best scholarship funding among NAIA programs in the state. To compete with the best, we need to recruit the best. All incoming freshmen earn a $5,000 scholarship when they enroll at Bellevue University. Learn more by looking us up at BUBruins.com and reach out to your future coach today.
It's cold, it's windy, you're stuck inside, but not for long. Spring will be here before you know it. And if you want to get off the couch and enjoy the outdoors when the mercury starts to rise, head over to Foresman'sFinest.com today. Let the finest deck builders in the Omaha area come build you an outdoor experience you will love. A deck, a patio with a cover, there isn't much Forsman's can't do. Check out Foresman'sFinest.com and have your dream outdoor experience in 2024.
Graduation season will be here before you know it, and you can have the 402 barbecue truck come to your party or event you're hosting. Stop by the Brick and Mortar on 84th and Spring and try the food. Then, when you get the craving, come back and book the food truck to be the caterer for your event. Graduations, company outings, community events, they do it all. 402 Barbecue at 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by today and grab lunch.
Hey, Jays fans, it's hoop season, and you know what that means. Jerry Ryan has the best selection in town for all things Creighton gear. Stop by Jerry Ryan at 78th and Dodge for your quarter zips in all shades of Jays blue, plus jackets, vest, winter coats, you name it. They have it. Multiple Jays options for men and women from Peter Millar, Cutter and Buck, and Johnny O. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and dress like the coaches do.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
It's Pro Time, Nebraska! The Omaha Supernovas, your Major League Volleyball team, have exploded into the scene with record crowds and a fan experience that is second to none. Witness world-class talent at the CHI Healthcare Center in downtown Omaha. Have fun with family and friends and get to know this team and feel the energy that they are bringing to Nebraska. Don't wait to be a part of history. Secure your single match tickets today at supernovas.com. That's supernovas.com.
The temperatures are dropping fast, and Old Man Winter is right around the corner. If your home isn't going to win the battle against the cold this year, let the #1 roofer in Omaha for 12 consecutive years come fight the battle for you. Let Pyramid Roofing come out and replace your gutters, your siding, your windows. They do it all. Give Pyramid a call tonight at 402-502-9300 or check out pyramidroof.com to book a free estimate today. Tell Old Man Winter to take a hike.
PyramidRoof.com, never settle for less.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with after hours. Thursday is spaghetti night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
I'm former Husker Terry Keneally.
And I'm former Husker Titus Adams.
Titus and I used to sack quarterbacks, but now we're fighting for the children of East Omaha.
Terry and I are on the board of the Q's Fund, which supports the Q's school system, made up of Holy Name, All Saints, and Sacred Heart School, which I am a proud graduate of.
Our students receive a values-based education with the family support they need.
And they go on to graduate high school at a 96% rate.
Learn more about our children at qschools.org.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Man, this show flew by tonight.
It was a quick one.
Hey, just a quick reminder. The reigning, defending, regular season North Star Athletic Conference champions, Bellevue University's men's basketball team, will be in action on Sunday. They have a bye on Wednesday as the #1 overall seed, but they will be at home at 1 o'clock inside the Den at the Gordon Legier Athletic Center. Make sure you come down, wear purple and black, and be loud. It is closing time. John Schreiner, Jimmy Allen, Dan Campinen will give you some picks here to win you some money tonight. Big, real quick thank you to Brian Munson and Bob Mulligan and the women's wrestling team at Omaha West Side. 2 different interviews for coming in tonight. Brian Munson not associated with
they were different.
West
Different
Side
people.
Girls Wrestling. But thank you to everybody who came in tonight and made the show a ton of fun tonight. We will win you some money to send you home, and we will start with Dan Campinen.
Yes, we will. And give me the over tonight in the Iowa State and Houston game. That is 132.5.
Love that pick.
Along with that, the Minnesota Wild are taking on the Winnipeg Jets in their barn tonight. Give me the Wild in that one. They are the underdog there. And also, I do believe that the New Jersey Devils tonight will win by more than 1.5 goals.
John Schreiner.
I'm also going to make a pick in the Houston-Iowa State game tonight, but I'm taking the Cougars and the points. Minus 8.5. Look, I think Houston might be the best team in the country. And
They're better than Purdue, I'll tell you that much.
I think they're going to beat Iowa State by 10. I'm staying in the Big 12, Kansas State and Texas. I think Kansas State keeps it closer than 8.5, and they might even pull the outright win. So give me Kansas State in that one. And then one tomorrow, Iowa at Michigan State. It's a big number for Michigan State, 9.5. I think Iowa can keep it closer than that. I don't think they win, but this is a 1 or 2 possession game. So I think Iowa keeps it under the 9.5.
I am also going to take the Kansas State Wildcats tonight plus 8.5. I do think they have a shot at winning, but I do not.
Big game for them. They need a win.
Yeah, I don't think they win, but I think they keep it really closely. I like the Iowa-Michigan State game tomorrow. I'm with you. I think Iowa keeps it under 9.5, but I think the under goes way under 2. 153.5. It's way too many points. They're not going to score that proficiently in that game. And then also one more for tonight. Give me the over as well in the Houston-Iowa State game. Now I think Houston scores upwards of 85 or more, as well as just getting on. I think they absolutely roll over the Cyclones. It's at home, one of the toughest places to play in the country, and to John's point, one of the best teams in the country. And this is one of the best shows in the state. And you could always listen to it anytime at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by our friends at Pyramid Roof Contractors. Humidity is going to start setting in as soon as spring gets here. And if your windows fog up when it gets warm outside, that's not supposed to happen. Let the number one roofer in Omaha, 12 consecutive years, come take care of your roof, your windows, your gutters, your siding. They do it all. Give Pyramid Roof a call at 402-502-9300. Check out pyramidroof.com to book that free estimate today. For Dan Campion and John Schreiner, I've been Jimmy Allen. Happy President's Day, everybody.
There's never been a better time to choose